Hi friends, welcome to WeTeach. Now we have to discuss jet transforms in the subject signals and systems. First of all, let us see introduction about jet transform. Here jet transform is nothing but the discrete counterpart of Laplace transform. Like Laplace transform for the continuous time signal, the jet transform is for the discrete time signal. That is, it is just the broader characterization of discrete time Fourier transform. Before going to take the definition and the properties of jet transform, first we need to observe the differences between continuous time signal and discrete time signal. And most of the natural signals are continuous time signals or analog signals. We need to form the discrete time signals by sampling the corresponding continuous time signal with the sampling period Ts. Whatever the discrete signal x of n is nothing but the sampled form of the continuous time signal with t value n into Ts, and Ts is the sampling time period. And now there are certain differences in the discrete and continuous time signal representations. Now let us see by point. Here in the continuous time signal, the time index is represented by t and it is varying continuously from minus infinity to plus infinity. But in the discrete time signal, the time index is represented by n, and that n can take only integer values from minus infinity to plus infinity. It will take only integer values. That's why in the original representation of discrete time signal, this index n is enclosed in the square bracket. So in the standard discrete time signal, we have to write x of n with the square bracket. Whereas in the continuous time signal, since t is continuously varying, we can take the representation as x of t with the parenthesis. See here the difference, the time index is t and here it is n, and we will take in the original standard representation parenthesis for the continuous time signal and square bracket for the discrete time signal in order to represent n value is always an integer. And next, come to the second one. Here the continuous time signal amplitude may or may not be continuous. If that amplitude is continuous, we have the analog signal. And similarly in the discrete time signal, the amplitude may be discrete or continuously varies. And whenever that amplitude is also taking only the discrete set of values, then we can call that as a digital signal. That means here remember, digital signal is different than discrete time signal. All the digital signals are also called as discrete time signals, but not all the discrete time signals are digital signals. Remember, digital signal means both amplitude and the time will take the discrete set of values. And come to the third one, the general form representation of complex exponential in the continuous time signal is x of t equal to c into e power at. And here c and a are any complex number constants. And for the discrete time signal, we will take the exponential representation c into alpha power n. And here the alpha value is e power beta and beta c are complex numbers. And based on the alpha magnitude, we have the different scenarios in the exponential. And one more thing, the periodicity in the exponential and sinusoidal signals is different in the continuous time signal and discrete time signal. In the continuous time signal, all the sinusoidal signals are periodic. But in the case of discrete time, all the sinusoidal signals may or may not be periodic. If it is periodic, the fundamental period of discrete time sinusoidal signal is 2 pi m by omega naught. Once it is periodic, this n value is integer. If it is not possible to have the capital N value as integer, then that sinusoidal signal is not periodic. And similarly, the periodic exponential signals are always periodic with the period t equal to 2 pi by omega naught in the case of continuous time signals. But for the discrete time signals, those periodic exponential forms may or may not be periodic. If it is periodic, that fundamental period capital N is 2 pi m by omega naught, which is integer. Hence, we can say the periodic exponential forms are sinusoidal forms in the discrete version, periodic whenever that fundamental period n 2 pi m by omega naught is integer. And to have the integer, you can select any real integer value, either positive or negative for the m. If it is not possible for any m integer values to have the n value as an integer, those are not periodic. So to find the periodicity of discrete time signal, we can use this formula, and based on this formula, whether it is integer or not, we can conclude the corresponding discrete signal is periodic or not. Now come to the Z transforms. Here Z transform is for the discrete time signal, and discrete time signal representations and the discrete time signal classifications all will be seen in the unit 1 signal analysis. Just reveal those things. And one more here you need to remember, in the unit step signal and unit impulse signal representations, in the continuous version, u of t is taken as 1 only for t greater than 0 and 0 for t less than 0. Exactly at t equal to 0, we have the discontinuity and it is undefined. For the mathematical purpose, we can take approximated value at t equal to 0 as 1 by 2. And in the case of discrete version, u of n will be 1 for n greater than or equal to 0 and 0 for n less than 0. See here the difference. Here t is not equal to 0. That means a t equal to 0 condition we cannot mention in the definition. But here we have to write for n greater than or equal to 0. And similarly in the unit impulse signal also, delta of t is defined with the value 0 at t non-zero values and area of 1 at t equal to 0. So exactly at t equal to 0, it has the infinite amplitude with the strength area is 1. We cannot write delta of t value as 1 at t equal to 0. We have to mention area of 1. But in the case of discrete signal, directly you can write delta of n value as 1 at n equal to 0, 0 for non-zero values of n. So these are some differences between continuous time signal and discrete time signal. And not only that, the continuous time signal can be represented either in the mathematical form or in the graphical form. And now the discrete time signal can be represented in these two. In addition to this, you can form in the sequence representation or in the tabular representation also. And all these just we are revealing from the unit 1 signal analysis. Now come to the Z transform. Here it is the discrete counterpart of Laplace transform. It will give the broader characterization of DTFT. That is, the DTFT or the DTFS, discrete time Fourier series, discrete time Fourier transform, can be taken whenever the corresponding discrete time sequence is absolute summable. If it is not that case, we cannot apply the DTFS or DTFT to get the frequency domain representation of x of n. That extension of absolute summability based on certain factor is Z transform. So like Laplace, here we have some extension from the DTFT. That is, even the discrete signal is not absolute summable, we can take the Z transform. And even whenever the system is not stable, then also you can apply the Z transform. And now come to the definition of Z transform. Let us consider the discrete time sequence as x of n. Then the Z transform of the discrete sequence is defined as sigma n equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n into z power minus n. And here the z is complex variable. We will write that complex variable in the polar form. That is r into e power j omega. Here r is the magnitude of z and omega frequency variable is the angle of z. And whatever the Z transform, we will represent in the Z plane. And here the Z plane, on x axis we have the real part of Z, and on y axis we have the imaginary part of Z. And based on the polar form, we will draw circles of the corresponding things. Based on the radius and the phase, we can point out the corresponding points. And like Laplace transform, here also in the Z transform, we have the poles and zeros. That is, the factors of denominator are known as the poles and they are marked as cross mark. They are marked in the ROC in the Z plane with the cross mark, and the factors of denominator are known as zeros and they are marked in the Z plane with the circle symbol. And now we can take the Z transform pairing relation between the discrete time signal and its Z transform. that is x of n and capital X of z will form the Z transform pair in this notation. X of n in the left side, which is a time domain version, and capital X of z in the right side. In between these two, we have to take by implication arrow. On that arrow, we have to write ZT, Z transform. And here it is representing X of n, Z transform is capital X of z, and inverse Z transform of capital X of z is X of n. And now here there are different ways to find the inverse Z transform rather than this equation. And since this equation is involving the contour integration, that means here this circle is representing the counterclockwise contour integration. We have the different methods. We will discuss those inverse Z transform methods also here. And generally there are two types in the Z transform like Laplace. They are unilateral and bilateral Z transform. Unilateral means the time index n value have to consider from 0 to infinity. Bilateral, we will consider n value from n value minus infinity to plus infinity. So based on n limits, whether it is from 0 to infinity or from minus infinity to infinity, we have these two types: unilateral, or you can say one-sided, and another one bilateral, or you can call both-sided or two-sided Z transform. And generally unilateral Z transform is used to solve LCCD, that is linear constant coefficient difference equation with non-zero initial condition. And bilateral Z transform is used to analyze the discrete time system properties. So here the Z transform can be used to analyze and design the discrete or digital filters. And you can apply the Z transform even the system is stable or unstable. And we can apply the Z transform even the signal is not absolute summable. There is somewhat extension from discrete time Fourier transform. In the next class, we will see the relationship between Z transform and discrete time Fourier transform, and at the same time the relationship between Laplace and Z transforms. Thank you.